Hello and welcome to Pushing Back, Ukraine Daily Brief. As the war enters its 804th day, these are the main developments from the past 24 hours. Russia has lost approximately 477,430 troops in Ukraine since the beginning of the war, the General Staff of Ukraine's armed forces reported. The number, which has not been independently verified, includes 970 casualties over the past day. According to the released Ukrainian figures, Russia lost 13 tanks, 19 armored combat vehicles, 30 artillery systems, 11 drones, 2 cruise missiles, 40 vehicles, and 2 pieces of special equipment. The update from the General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine. There were 64 combat engagements. The enemy launched a total of 1 missile and 40 airstrikes, carried out 72 multiple launch rocket system attacks on positions of Ukrainian troops and various settlements. The Ukrainian Air Force and Missile Forces launched strikes on 1 S-4 Tyolpan self-propelled mortar, 1 command post and 5 concentrations of troops of the invaders. The update from the General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine. There were 64 combat engagements. The enemy launched a total of 1 missile and 40 airstrikes, carried out 72 multiple launch rocket system attacks on positions of Ukrainian troops and various settlements. The Ukrainian Air Force and Missile Forces launched strikes on 1 S-4 Tyolpan self-propelled mortar, 1 command post and 5 concentrations of troops of the invaders. In its latest intelligence update, the Institute for the Study of War. Russian President Vladimir Putin began his 5th term as Russian president on May 7 and stressed Russia's need for unchallenged autocratic rule while indirectly calling for victory in Ukraine. Russian ultranationalists lauded the start of Putin's 5th term as a historic event and explicitly approved of the autocratic tradition in which Putin is casting himself, with one of them hailing him as Imperator, the formal title of the Russian Tsars since the time of Peter the Great. Russian ultranationalists also expressed hope that Putin will continue to deepen an anti-Western ideology that the Kremlin has been heavily developing since the start of the full-scale invasion. The current Russian cabinet of ministers and Prime Minister Mikhail Mishustin formally resigned on May 7 as constitutionally mandated, and the ministers who return to service and the ones whom Putin replaces will indicate who has Putin's favor and signal his political priorities for his 5th term. Belarus has announced a surprise nuclear readiness inspection likely as part of the Kremlin's re-intensified reflexive control campaign targeting Western decision-making. Ukraine's security service reported on May 7 that it exposed a network of Russian Federal Security Service operatives who were planning to assassinate Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and other high-ranking Ukrainian intelligence and military officials. The Russian Prosecutor General's office declared U.S. non-governmental organization Freedom House an undesirable organization on May 7, likely as part of an ongoing effort to consolidate control over the domestic information space and further deprive Russians of access to civil society organizations and independent assessments of Russian civil and political rights. Russian occupation officials continue efforts to forcibly recruit Ukrainian civilians into the Russian military in occupied Kherson Oblast. The Kremlin is working with occupation administrators to strengthen Russia's control over the child welfare system in occupied Ukraine. Russian forces recently made confirmed advances near Avdiivka, Donetsk city, and in western Zaporizhia Oblast. In Zelensky's nightly video he covered several points. Firstly, he discussed the ongoing battles and his efforts to strengthen the military. He expresses gratitude to world leaders who are supplying weapons and ammunition. He emphasizes the importance of continued support and praises the Ukrainian brigades fighting on the front lines. Secondly, he spoke about the preparations for the Global Peace Summit. He emphasizes the importance of international cooperation and a rules-based international order. He planned to invite a wide range of countries to represent a true global community and bring a majority to the table to establish a just peace. Lastly, he says talks with the European Union are scheduled to begin in June and that Ukrainian side is committed to working out all details and Ukraine has fulfilled its obligations. Thanks for following today's updates. Please don't forget to like and subscribe for more content. We'll return tomorrow with the latest news on the ongoing conflict.